You're muted, Vanita.
Good evening, everyone. This is Vanita Dillon. Welcome to our fourth virtual orientation session for families and supporters. We have a fabulous set of experts again for you today, and very soon they'll be introducing themselves. But before that, for those of you who are joining us for the first time, my name is Vanita Dillon. I serve as the director for new students and family programs. Been here about 3 decades. Love this place, and have a couple of housekeeping tips. Please keep your devices on mute for the presentation. And at the end of our session, you can unmute and ask your questions if you're not able to type them throughout the presentation. At the end, I will read the questions and the panelists can respond based on their background and your question. Please try and ask questions that are applicable to today's topic, health and safety. Anything other than health and safety, if we have time at the end, we can cover those, or you'll have the new you have the schedule. Next session is dining services on Thursday, so we could talk about that then. All right, we will kick it off with what happens on the 16th when you arrive. Lot O is where you'll park. You'll walk into PIAC, and we will be waiting for you there to check you in, and your student can pick up their uniforms. Their arrival time will be emailed to them by housing@csum.edu in their Cal Maritime mailbox. They'll have that time. You will arrive around that time. A little bit sooner would be great. We expect you to stay in PIAC for about 30 minutes while your student is picking up their uniform. We'll have a lot of the same faces that you're seeing over the course of this virtual orientation there to greet you and answer any last-minute questions, and get to know you. You can get to know all of us. After that, you will head to your res hall, where you will drop off your student as well as your other family members or members in your party, and they can go into the room and get set up. The person driving the car will have to take the car back to a parking lot of their choice. You could park in back in lot O or any other lot that you find a spot. Please familiarize yourself with the map of the campus. Towards the afternoon, you will be in the quad for a welcome ceremony, and then you might join us for a dinner in front of the dining center on the waterfront, which is where for the first time we're hosting a dinner. There's a cost associated with it. And later today, I will share the link where you could start registration. We'll have some music. You'll get a chance to see other families, enjoy a nice evening with your student before you head out. That's the end of your participation. Your student has a 7 p.m. meeting, so they will head to that. Should you choose to dine elsewhere in Vallejo or Benicia or anywhere close, you'll be bringing your student back to campus by 6:45, so they are ready for their 7 p.m. meeting. That's all the details. There will be shuttles available to bring you from your parking lot location to the lower campus and back to your car. Please dress in layers. We do have early morning and evenings are cool and windy, especially for dinner in the evening. The wind does pick up, even though it's gonna be, even if it is sunny. So please dress in layers and comfortable shoes always. With that, I would like to stop sharing the link I had for the recordings. We have 2 recordings that are posted there. Future recordings will pop up at that same playlist. I have yet to hear back if we were able to salvage the first recording. So I apologize again for missing that or losing it. With that, I am inviting our fabulous panel to say hello. I can start off the first person, and then if you can popcorn to your colleague, that would be wonderful. Introductions first, and then the second go around can be what you do to ensure the safety and well-being of our students. Presenters, just know that the audience today is parents and supporters. This is not for students. You'll get a chance to chat with the students when they're here on campus. And I'll kick it off with Craig.
Hi, thanks, Vanita. My name is Craig Dawson. I'm responsible for environmental health and safety on the campus, and I'm also the designated person ashore for the ship. And I will switch it over to Dr. Carroll.
I knew I'd be next. That's why I had to try hurry up and drink. Hi. Hello, everyone. I'll be so happy to meet you when you come on campus. I am the Associate Director of Civil Rights and the Deputy Title IX Coordinator at the campus. So I deal with anything issue that may violate our interim non-discrimination policy. And next looks like Charles.
Hey, good evening, everyone. My name is Charles Ford, and I'm a police sergeant here at the Cal Poly Maritime Academy. Happy to be here with you all.
All right. I just happened to notice an email from our physician who is from Cal Poly and taking care of all things related to health in our health center. And I'm hoping he's going to hop on shortly. But in the meantime, we could go back to Craig and then Carol and then Charles to speak about your role on campus and everything you can share with families so they know that their precious cargo is in very good, safe hands at Maritime.
Hi. So environmental health and safety covers a lot of different areas. Environmental protection, avoiding spills, dealing with hazardous materials, things like that. Health, of course, the health of all employees. My primary focus is towards staff and faculty, but I do have a lot of interactions with cadets and students across the campus. We usually do at least one or more safety walks once the daylight savings changes so that we can make sure that our lighting across campus is adequate. And if issues come up, incidents come up, I'm involved in investigating them to make sure that if there's anything that presents a hazard, that we do everything we can to avoid reoccurrence. And I'll bounce it over to Charles.
All right. So I'll talk a little bit about the police department. I'm going to read a few little pages here, then I'll kind of open up to some more stuff. So the Cal Poly Maritime Police Department, we're here 24/7. We have sworn peace officers that patrol the campus, and we also have the non-sworn. Our non-sworn officers are called port security guards, and we have them on patrol, as well as the training ship Golden Bear. So during business hours, Monday through Friday, we do the access control on the ship. We are the first responders to any campus emergency. We do work with Vallejo Fire Department and Solano Medics for any of our ambulance needs. And we collaborate with Vallejo Police Department, Solano Sheriff's Office, and the California Highway Patrol as needed. We have 3 areas of our main responsibility, which are police and safety services, emergency preparedness, and parking enforcement. We really tell the students that they really need to be proactive. If they see something, say something. Give us a call. We're here for the student's success. We want to get them in as freshmen and get them out in 4 years, graduating, and having them grow. How we contact the police department, if there's any emergency, we always tell everyone to call 911. If there's any non-emergency, I have a phone number here, and you guys can Google it later for Cal Maritime Police Department, but it's 707-654-1176. You'll see blue light phones along our campus, so we encourage students to push those if there's an emergency. Most people have cell phones now, so they dial 911 if there's an emergency. We have a lot
Can
of
you repeat the phone
questions
number,
regarding
please?
what's that?
Can you
Okay.
repeat the phone number, please?
Yes, the non-emergency number is 707-654-1176.
It's in chat as well.
So we also offer a safety escort program. Since the majority of our incoming students cannot park on campus, some students elect to park on Country Lane, which is off campus, which is just outside the police department. And sometimes students don't feel comfortable walking potentially to their dorms, so we can do a safety escort program where the officers will give them escort to their rooms. We're not an Uber service, but we're here for the safety of all the students here, so we'll give them a ride to their rooms. We also encourage all of our students to register their bicycles with the police department. It's a free program. They just come to the police department with their bicycle, have them fill out the registration form, and we affix a registration sticker to the bicycle frame. So they invent if the bicycle is secured in an unauthorized location or if it's stolen, we have a better chance of getting that bicycle back. We are a smoke-free campus, so that goes with smoking tobacco, marijuana, and chewing tobacco. So just remind your student about that. And those are the big bullet points. We're here for their success. We sometimes have little hiccups with students. A lot of times it's growing pains. You can work through them and grow for them and learn. So that's what we're here for, is just student success. We're not out to get the students at all. We're here for their safety. And I'll field any questions at the end, and I'll shoot it to Dr. Carroll.
So of course, I made a slideshow. Probably has way too much in it, but this will keep me from going because I'm a nerd. And so if I can, Vanita, can I share? Cool. This is one. So I'm just going to give you a quick introduction to there we go, the Office of Civil Rights. I'm Dr. Carol Branch. I go by Dr. Carol or DC, and I'm the Associate Director of Civil Rights and the Deputy Title IX Coordinator. And there's the office email. I am part of the Civil Rights Compliance Office, which is a wonderful resource because we work with, I'm sorry, touching things, with Title IX, discrimination, harassment based on protected class, Title VI, but it's better, easier to remember as discrimination, harassment, retaliation, work with Clery, the Americans with Disability Act, and of course our compliance, our public records requests, etc. If you don't know what Title IX is, I'm just going to put it up there. I'm not going to read it for you. But as the Title IX coordinator, I am responsible for facilitating and overseeing any action or event associated with sexual misconduct or discrimination, harassment based on someone's gender, gender appearance, gender expression, all that. So I'm here for that. I'm here for your students. I'm here to make sure that everyone on this campus can take advantage of their right to go to class, go to work in a safe manner. This is a federal act. I don't think y'all need to know this part, but I get excited, so I put too much stuff in. So ignore me. But who's covered? Students, faculty, staff, summer campers, subcontractors, vendors. Anyone who comes on campus is protected under Title IX, both as victim and perpetrator. We are looking for people that we have jurisdiction over. If I do not have jurisdiction over that individual, I will assist in connecting with local law enforcement or community resource. Anyway, it goes. I am always here to be a wonderful resource for you and your student. The subject matter, unwelcome sex-based, gender-based conduct. This is Title IX conduct of a sexual nature, sex discrimination, gender discrimination, pregnant parenting, nursing students. And I know that last one usually catches folks like, I'm sorry, pregnant parenting? Yes, because historically colleges have not done their best by our pregnant and parenting students. We want to make sure that any student who comes to this campus can take advantage of the educational activities here. This is Title VI. This looks very similar to Title IX. And then we're talking about discrimination, harassment, retaliation. And I'm looking for behavior that treats people differently because of their protected class, which I'll have them covered here. I'm not going to read it all for you. And or retaliation that because you, in a good faith effort to part in filing a complaint or report with my office, if you are treated differently because of that, that is retaliation, and we cover that as well. Keep in mind that not every complaint is an investigation. But I will not investigate unless I receive a formal complaint. But many times it's consultation or referral, performance expectations, additional training. I love training people. I know you're thinking, yeah, that sounds like I do. And Vanita can tell you I was just waxing poetic because I'm like, I want to pull out an 8-part training series. I'll see. We'll probably cut it down. But right now it's at 8 and it might grow. And mediation, because many times if we talk things out and we see the impact our behavior has on other people, we're able to come to an understanding of our own behavior. So here's some resources. Oh, I hate when the computer does that. It's always a great idea when you start it. It's never one at the end. My office, Office of Civil Rights. If you want to be confidential, we have our counseling and psychological services within our health wellness center. Our campus advocate, Jennifer Ojeda, who's down the hall from me. She is a wonderful resource. Our ombuds, which with the integration, we have access to an ombuds, and they're at the Cal Poly San Luis Obispo campus, but you can connect virtually or on the phone with this person. And then, of course, SafeQuest Solano is 24/7 hotline. Someone's there for your student at all times. Local law enforcement with our great Cal Maritime Police Department and our Vallejo Police Department. I have to say, the officers on our campus are very caring. They know the students, they know the campus, they're always around. So you should feel that while your student is on this campus, they're in good hands. And now, who's the next person?
So I have not noted Dr. Young hopping on the call. Dr. Young, oh, there you are. Hello. This is Dr. Ricardo Young, and I'll hand it off to him to introduce himself and let you know what he does, his role on campus.
Hi, everybody. Can you hear me okay, Vanita? Sorry for being late. I was on a Teams link. I'm Dr. Ricardo Young. I'm the medical director at the health center on campus. And as many of you know, we've recently had an integration between Cal Poly and Cal Maritime. And so we're one Cal Poly. And so I have been supporting the Cal Maritime team since last fall. And the health center is open 5 days a week. And there we have both counseling and psychological services staff full-time. We have 2 full-time staff, and we also have a 0.6, kind of like a part-time staffer who provides after-hours telehealth to our students. And then we also have one full-time nurse practitioner, myself, and then we also have a per diem physician's assistant who provides medical care to our students, to your students. And we have 2 medical assistants who help support those operations. And so, as I mentioned, Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 5. We have availability for walk-in visits and also scheduled appointments. If students are not feeling well, they can stop by and get evaluated. It's usually pretty easy to get in right away. They can also call to make an appointment. We also perform U.S. Coast Guard physical exams, which are required to continue on the license track, and any kind of physical exams that are needed for students to participate in internships or going overseas for any other sort of programs, or going to different locations. And we do have a small lab in the health center, so we can do tests like for evaluating if somebody has a urinary tract infection or if somebody has strep throat, pregnancy testing, and a couple other tests. And then we also have a dispensary, which is not the dispensary that most of you think, but this is for a pharmacy, where we're able to keep secure a good number of different types of medications. So let's say your student gets strep throat, they test positive at the health center, we're able to then prescribe and dispense, give it to them, the penicillin or other medications they may need for their condition. I think that's what I've got right there. Benita, any other questions, or do folks have questions?
We'll have our attendees write their questions in chat, and then we'll start answering questions as we move forward. But thank you very much for your introduction. I do have a follow-up for Dr. Branch, just so that she can put some information out there. Maybe Craig has something to offer in terms of what is a designated person ashore, a role in terms of students who go away on cruise?
My name and number is posted all over the ship, and the cadets are trained and instructed if they are having any problems or issues, resolving any situations through all of the personnel on the ship, which rarely happens because we do have, as Dr. Young was referencing, the same complement of health services on the ship during sea term as we do on the campus. So we have counselors, medical physicians, nurse practitioners, and the gamut, as well as all of our professional staff and crew to support people. But it does give cadets and staff, for that matter, an alternate avenue of somebody to reach out and contact that's completely independent of the ship. And then there's a lot of roles that are less interactive with the cadets, related to auditing and Coast Guard compliance and that. But that's the major role that your cadets will be learning my name for.
Thank you so much, Craig. And then I have a question for Charles Ford. Could you speak a little bit about parking and permits available to the incoming students? That's not the rule. Not everyone gets to park on campus, but if they request and are approved, where can they park? And what is the, do you know when permits will be provided upon their arrival? I think I might know also, but I want to give you the chance to talk about that.
Great questions. I know we have a small number of permits that will be potentially issued out to first-year students. I don't know the exact number of that. And that parking location is in parking lot F as in Frank, and that's up on the hill. So if you Google the map, you'll see on the map, it's up on the hill on our campus, and that's where they are to park. There's only limited parking. So if your student does not get that parking permit, the only other option, you have two options. One, buy a daily parking pass, pass, which adds up quite a bit if you're parking on campus, or you can park off campus on Country Lane. So it's right outside the police department on Maritime Academy Drive and Country Lane. That's a city street, so you could potentially park your vehicle there. I don't have the form link right now. If you Google the Cal Maritime Police Department parking, the link will come up there. Let me see if we can find it. And on the process to fill that out.
Um, and I will take the other part of the question that I brought up. I have been given information that the cashier's office will be open on the 16th when you arrive, and that is your opportunity to stop by their office, which is in administration building, and the closest parking lot to that building is lot A. So A for administration. You can walk into the cashier's office between 8 and 2 and grab your parking permit if it's been approved by PD. So if PD says yes, you can have one, they will have that permit available with the cashier 8 to 2 in the administration building while you're parked outside in lot A. Back to you, Charles.
And are there any questions regarding the police department from anyone? Is there security provided in parking lot F? So parking lot F is on the main campus, and we routinely we patrol campus on a random basis. Historically, parking lot F is a very secure parking lot on campus. Again, we always remind everyone on campus, don't leave any valuables in your vehicle. You'll be amazed when we walk around the whole campus looking at vehicles. Sometimes people leave backpacks, wallets, money out. So lots of things can be prevented if we don't leave any valuables in our vehicles. So really, really let your students know about that. Here's another question.
I'll start reading the questions from the beginning, Charles, if that's okay.
Can
Sure.
I make a statement before you do that?
Of course.
What happens is many times, because you have to kind of drive onto and down and around our campus to park, we become very comfortable with the fact that we feel our car is safe, not really fully appreciating this is a public institution, and people come, they fish off the rocks, they walk their dogs, they jog over the bridge, they have access to your car just by walking by it. And many times we'll forget, and oh, I'll just pop out for a minute, I'll leave my computer in the back seat. Well, the back seat says, take me, take me, take me. And, so things like that happen. And people forget to lock their bicycles, which leads to their bicycle being stolen. So please, please, please urge your student to have a little care, a little caution. Yes, we are a university, but we're a public institution at the same time.
Thank you, Carol. I'm going to start reading questions, and as I was looking through them, Dr. Young, many are going to be for you. If you don't have all the answers, it's all good. We can, it's being recorded. I'll grab the questions and post the answers on Facebook. So don't worry too much about something that we can't answer. I'll start with, my student is covered by my workplace health insurance. How do I check if Campus Health Center will accept my insurance?
Thanks. Yeah, that's a common question. So the Campus Health Center does not accept health insurance. The Campus Health Center operates under the Student Health Services fee. And so it's part of the tuition for students on every semester. There's a portion of the tuition that paid into as a student health service fee. And so that funds like the operations of the health center, including on the summer C term. However, there is a requirement to have health insurance, and the health insurance will be sort of evaluated and vetted by an insurance broker that we work with to determine that it's adequate for the students to use as they travel, for example. Because some health insurance policies are limited to a certain geography for a variety of reasons. And so there will be a requirement to have insurance. There will be a process to evaluate your insurance if that is adequate or up to date. And if there's a problem with the insurance that a student currently has and it doesn't meet the requirements, then the student will be required to purchase a plan through the campus. There will be more information regarding that. Let's see, can the medical center offer immunizations? Very limited. We will provide like tetanus vaccinations in cases where somebody has a cut. But in terms of the rest of the vaccinations, we do not store those. Many of them require like certain types of storage, and we just don't have the capacity to do that. We recommend folks go to either their provider in the cases of like, let's say Kaiser. Locally, there's Kaiser. And so you could conceivably make an appointment there at their injection clinic and get needed vaccinations. The other options are for non-Kaiser folks is to use a pharmacy such as Walgreens, CVS, to get those vaccinations. And those are all covered by your insurance.
All right. I will read the questions. Can you take United Healthcare in the health centers?
So as I mentioned earlier, we do not accept health insurance per se at the health center, but there will be a process to evaluate if your insurance is adequate for the student moving forward.
Thank you. There is a waiver process, and if you search on our website for health waiver or health insurance waiver, you'll see the page that has all that information. What about parking for transfer students? Charles, that one's for you.
That's going to be the same process for first year students. So they just follow that same link that I put in the message here for parking, and you'll have to email the parking coordinator for approval.
Are there a limited number of freshman spots? I take it for parking.
That is correct. It's a limited because parking on campus is just unfortunately we don't have enough spaces for everyone. So that's why we limit the freshmen on campus parking.
Thank you. Can students fill any of their regular prescription medications at the medical center pharmacy?
No, because we're not a standalone pharmacy. And so unfortunately we can't do that. And so if a student has ongoing medication needs that is already prescribed by their primary care physician or other treating physician, I would recommend getting that transferred to a local pharmacy in Vallejo so that the student can get it filled. Or there are situations where your health plan or your pharmacy will mail it to you. And so that's another option.
Thank you. How will we know if we were approved for parking lot F?
Once you email the park coordinator, they'll reach out to you via email, I believe, to let you know if you've been approved or not.
Is that email link, is that email parking@csum.edu, Charles? Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. If my student takes their bike with them as a first-year student, is there plenty of bike parking areas, and can they take their bike into their room?
So there are bicycle racks throughout the campus. We really encourage students to use the U-locks. The cable locks are very thin, and unfortunately people cut through those cable locks. So use the U-lock type locks for your bicycles and make sure they lock them through the frames and not just the tires. And so they're adequate bicycle racks throughout the campus. And as far as parking them in your rooms, I believe if you're a solo occupant, as long as you don't block the egress for your room, you can put them in your room. If you're bunked up with other individuals, I believe it's a no. You have to get permission from all your roommates. So that's depending on who your roommate is.
Exactly. There are some rooms that'll be tripling up, so just there's not the footprint to bring in a bike in addition to the people and their necessary furniture. This is an interesting question from Lori. I suspect Charles and Craig both could take a chance to respond. Storing fishing and diving equipment on campus. I know that we do not have large enough lockers or spaces where students could store those, because that was a question at the last session. But here's the interesting part. Are there designated spaces or policies for items like spear guns, dive knives, or large tackle with hooks? They just want to be sure that they're following all the compliant policies.
Yeah, so any large knives over 2.5 inches, you can't bring them on campus. No firearms on campus. Spear guns are, you can't bring those on campus as well. And unfortunately, we do not store any of these weapons in the police department. So you cannot bring them on campus. You cannot bring them in your vehicle if your vehicle is on campus. And I would recommend, if you do park off campus, don't store it in your vehicle, because your vehicle could get broken into. As far as fishing tackle, it's not against policy to have fishing hooks for fishing tackle. You'll probably have to just store that in your room. Unfortunately, we don't have space or locker space to store, as far as I know, dive equipment on campus. So, yeah, unfortunately, the police department, we can't store it here.
Thank you. Are bikes encouraged on campus for freshmen?
Good question.
Yes.
I don't really encourage bicycles. You can bring them if you want, either that or walk. If you bring a bicycle, I would just really recommend get a good lock, get a U-lock, and make sure you lock your bicycle. Make sure you register the bicycle with the police department. And yeah, it just depends if they want to ride the bike or not. So.
Right. We do see some students who bring skateboards. You have to be very mindful of when you're using them, because they are sharing the road with vehicles. We have limited ingress and egress from the campus, so be very, very careful. But that's another mode of transportation that we've noticed on campus. Next one is, if they have a Medi-Cal waiver, can they still use the health center?
Yes. So just to clarify for everybody, the students all have access to the medical center, to the health center, regardless of insurance status or what type of insurance they have, whether it's a California plan or PPO or any of that stuff. It doesn't matter. They have access to the student health center, and including access to health services and counseling and psychological services on campus and on the ship. And so that, like, a student will be able to access all those services. It's included in their tuition, and those fees help pay for those services. The distinction is, we still want to have for students to have adequate health insurance, because the care we can provide at the health center is really limited to primary care and kind of like limited urgent care types scenarios. If a student needs to go to the emergency room, they'll need insurance for that. If they need to be transported by ambulance, they need to be hospitalized. All those things need to be supported by health insurance. If they need to be referred to a specialist, that also needs to be supported by health insurance of some sort. And so that's why it's important to continue to have health insurance for your student. But let's say, for example, a student doesn't have health insurance for a variety of reasons. That won't prevent them from accessing any of those services at the student health center.
Thank you. There's another, exactly the same questions that what I'm not going to read. When will we see the first semester tuition bill? So as the folks shared last time, that we are in the process of evaluating transcripts, and the registrar has begun the process of block registering your students. Once that process is complete, you will get your first bill. You can expect it close to August 5th, and you will have up until August 15th to pay. Does Health Center have X-ray capabilities?
No, we do not. We do have an agreement with Solano Radiology, a local radiology center. And so we will send students there to get those X-rays completed.
Thank you. Do we have a specific plan for students if there's a major earthquake? And how about if there's a tsunami warning?
Great questions. So yeah, for earthquakes, we really preach the drop, cover, and hold on. And then depending on the infrastructure, we may keep them in the buildings, may keep them out, maybe go to the gym. There's a lot of variables in that, but we do have a plan on evacuation. And as far as tsunami, it really depends on the size of that. We've had small tsunamis in the past, about an inch from small stuff, but if we get a big tsunami, we'll get alerted by the Pacific Tsunami Warning Center, and we'll act and get people in the high ground.
Thank you.
Mhm.
You are, next question is about boots. All cadets or ocean students who might be working on our ship are required to have boots. They have to be black and steel-toed. It could also be a composite toe, but it has to be steel toe. A composite toe has to be black, and they should check out a few different ones that they feel comfortable in. Get those. They're in their boots. Cadets and ocean students are in their boots all the time. So please look for some comfortable ones. Test or try a few before you make your final purchase. Who should we talk to if our student needs non-standard issue shoes or a chit? I will put her email in chat. Her name is Deanna. Last name is Vides, DVIDES at CSUM. She is our accessibility and disability officer. And she's the one who's going to be able to help you out with getting you an accommodation. What supplements are available for purchase at the pharmacy?
We don't routinely stock supplements, but I think we generally have like vitamin C and a couple things like that. We have a lot of over-the-counter products, so ibuprofen, Tylenol, allergy medications, both pill form, nasal sprays, all that stuff. I would just encourage the student to come in and get checked out and ask. In terms of the next question, confused about the health center. If a student is sick, do they go to the health center? The answer is yes. That's always a good first step. And then sometimes, like I said, we can do some labs there. And as a matter of fact, we can even do blood work and then send it to Quest, and then can evaluate the student that way there, and initiate some treatments, etc. But if our staff feels like, they need a higher level of care, we certainly don't hesitate to direct them to an emergency room or something like that. But if your student feels sick, it doesn't feel good, their first step should be going to the health center. We also have a 24-hour nurse advice line that they can contact. That's if you call our daytime phone number, after hours, it will roll over to a service that we pay for a 24-hour advice nurse, and they can provide some guidance as to whether or not like your student should go to the emergency room that evening or that night, or if they could wait to be seen the next morning.
Thank you. Are electric bike scooters allowed on campus? And there's a follow-up about helmets being required.
Yes, currently electric scooters and bicycles are allowed on campus. We just caution everyone to be very careful. We have a lot of construction going on, and we have to share the roadways with vehicles. As far as helmets, if your child is over 18, they do not have to wear a helmet, but we really do encourage them wearing helmets if they're on any device on campus.
I concur. Thank you, Charles.
Mhm.
Move-in day, can parents go into the res hall rooms? Absolutely. We count on you to hop out of the car that you drive up in, except for the person driving. Please go into the room, get your students settled in. It's such a wonderful way of accepting the fact that you're leaving your student behind while you go home. So please do that, plan for it. You'll have plenty of time in case you are rushed and you have one of the later times for checking in. Feel free to come back after the capping ceremony to go back into their room and finish up anything that was not complete. If I'm living off campus, do I need to be there for all of move-in day? No, you do not. We will give you an appropriate time for you to move in or to check in. And right after check-in, we invite you to come, your family, if they're going to be with you. We have a welcome session with the president and some leadership. And there will be a capping ceremony and an integration ceremony for our traditional students. So we do have a little bit of ceremony and welcome that's going on. So we invite you to come to that. And like I mentioned, we have a dinner with music and just a time for families to get to know each other, students to get to know each other. I'd hate for you to miss out on all of that just because you're not living on campus. And we will send you an invite. You'll get an invite from housing that says your check-in time is such and such. How do we waive health insurance and where do we submit the info about students' existing health insurance?
You can go on the website, right, Benita?
Yes.
Go to the health center area, and then there will be instructions there how to waive the insurance. And then there will be a process through which our broker that we work with verifies the level of insurance that your student has.
So I have to put it out there that we, as part of the integration, we're trying to settle into a singular website in time, but we have a separate website, integration website set up for Cal Maritime, which is Cal Poly Maritime Academy. And no matter what URL we give you right now, it's going to take you to that integration web page. And from there, we invite you to either click on Solano Campus or do a search. And when you do that search, it'll eventually, after a couple of clicks, depending on the topic of your search, it'll take you back to the legacy website, which is what you've seen up until now, the blue and gold aqua with all the water backdrops. It's going to take you there, and then you can find all the information that you need. But unfortunately, as we merge, there is that extra step. So if I keep putting web pages in the link, none of them will really take you where you need to go. You have to navigate from that integration web page to a website to the page you're looking for. So we apologize for the extra clicks, but this is the best way for us to move forward. And it's only this is just a transition. We'll eventually get to a more robust site for everyone. So please, we apologize for the inconvenience and the extra steps, but please bear with us on this. At the next meeting, which is on Thursday, I will bring some more specific information to help you navigate the waiver process. All the health forms were due to the health center by the 15th of July. So if you haven't done that already, please call the health center and find ways to get that sorted out. Do we need to submit immunization records beyond what was included? No, what's in the forms is all you need to worry about. Is there an on-campus notification system for students and parents?
Yeah, so if there's an emergency where we need to shelter in place or do a lockdown on campus, we use rave notification. So everyone who via email, cell phone number, they'll get a text, a phone call, and an email
Mhm.
regarding the notification of what's going on, what they need to do. So that's what we do. And then for regular notifications on campus, it's usually done via email to their csum.edu email.
So Charles, that answers the question for notifying students. Is your platform also reaching out to emergency contacts that are in PeopleSoft for students?
I don't believe it's going to go for rave notifications.
Okay.
If there's an incident regarding a current student, like a singular student, then we'll contact that emergency contact for whoever they are. But as far as system-wide for everyone, they're not going to get notified.
So just so you know, the notifications are only to students, staff, faculty, not families. We do request students when they initially do their CSU apply application process to give us a couple of contact information. One is whether for emergencies, the other is whether we can reach out to those family members with communication. And we only rely on that information the student has provided. So please talk with your student. If they didn't provide that information because they were in a rush or didn't want to or didn't understand the reasoning behind it, it's all good. They can still log into their PeopleSoft system and update their record with that information for us to be able to reach out to you. The platform that Charles is talking about will still not address that, will not send out the notifications, but for us to reach you, the only way we can do that is if your student who's an adult has given us permission, and that is done via PeopleSoft. So please take a second to ask your student about that. If a student needed imaging from Solano Radiology, will they be transported there?
The answer is no. We will try to help them arrange transportation. It'll probably have to be through either a taxi or Uber scenario. And I don't know, Charles, if you can clarify this, there's no zip car available on campus, right?
No. Thank you. Lori, I'm waiting to hear on this question about the to-do list. I will follow up one more time with the folks who are looking at that.
I
I
know
apologize.
for the health form on the to-do list, I will say that we got a bunch of them at the health center, and so we're working through those. And so once we complete those, then our staff checks it off on the system, so then it'll come off the to-do list. So what we may be seeing currently is just sort of like just a bunch of them, and so it's kind of slowing down that checking off process for the health report forms.
Thank you for that update, Dr. Young. If a student has tuition waiver and CH-35, which should we plan for the first bill, since everything is just getting started? Does the first bill include their uniform cost? So I'll take the second question first because the answer is yes. The first bill will include their uniform costs. The second, about tuition waiver and CH-35, which I have no idea what that is a question that would have been best answered by our guest last meeting, but I will look into it. CH-35 and tuition waiver. Mia, would you please also do me a huge favor and send me a question at orientation@csum.edu, and I'm happy to follow it up with student financials and financial aid to find out the answer and get back with you. That's the best and surest way to find out the answer that you're looking for. When does the student health insurance become effective? How can we get evidence of insurance and coverage limits? Thank you, Max, for typing that question. I apologize for missing it. So I believe the insurance, so it's not student health insurance. If you're buying student health insurance through the campus, it will become effective first day of school. And how can we get evidence? It's also through the broker that you've worked with. Apparently, you've gone through the process, it seems like, Max. Again, if you can just copy and paste this question and send it to me at orientation@csum.edu, I'd be very happy to work with someone in the health center who does this on a daily basis to get you the exact answer. Is that okay, Dr. Young, with you?
Yep, thank you.
Okay. Is there a resource for students to know which part of Vallejo are safer to venture versus others? Are there frequent incidents of theft on the road outside the campus?
Yeah, Vallejo is just like majority, I mean, lots of cities throughout the state of California. If we practice situational awareness, the buddy system, where you're going, the time of day, things like that, don't leave valuables in your vehicle, you can many times prevent these instances from happening. So that said, I mean, that's pretty much what I try to do. So there's good areas and bad areas, just like any other city in California. So if kids have any questions regarding restaurants or something like that, come up to the officers. We'll give you where to go restaurant wise, things like that. But we're in the south end of Vallejo, and there's not much stuff around us. So you're gonna have to most likely get a vehicle or a rideshare service if you wanted to get somewhere off campus. Hopefully that answers the question.
Thank you. Situational awareness, that's the name of the game. My son was told to go to the cashier's office. Yes, that is correct. And the cashier will only be given the number of permits for the students who are approved through the process that Charles Ford was talking about. So it's not on a first come first basis when you arrive on campus. Those are approved. It's an approved process. The right number of permits are printed and made available for pickup on the 16th at the cashier's office. Confused about the boots. The uniform order form included boots and indicated the students had to. The uniform order asked for shoe size to give you a pair of shoes that goes with your uniform. They're likely Bates. They're formal black patent leather shoes, not the boots. The students are asked to buy their own steel toe or composite toe boots, most comfortable for them, black. What is the capping ceremony? Is that for all business majors too? We are introducing a new ceremony for all students who are not part of the core. And so if your business student opted out of the core, we will have a ceremony for those students, but capping itself is for those in the core. Is there a bus or a way off campus for those with no car? How do they get off campus into town or to the ferry?
Currently there's no bus on campus that's really going to take you anywhere. So either if you have a friend with a vehicle or a rideshare service, those are the primary modes of transportation.
Thank you, Charles. The integration website, you'll have to give me a few seconds. I've got questions coming in, and someone, Hillary, thank you. When will students' housing details be released? Is it on move-in day? No, you will be receiving an email from housing by the end of this month or the first couple of days of August. It'll be an email that'll give you your check-in time, your roommate's name, your res hall, your room number, all that good stuff will be sent, and based on that information, you will drive up at the right time on the 16th. My son is still waiting on scholarships to be applied before he accepts. Is there a deadline? That would have also been a good question for last week's guests, if you can email me your question again at orientation@csum.edu, I will forward it to the right people to get you the response that you're looking for. It is not as hard as it was to get to the old site. Thank you, Hillary, and thank you for sharing that spot. The other day, a scam email went to students. Yes, we are aware of it. Those kinds of things happen. Are there any measures being put in place to prevent from this occurring again? I'm sure there are adequate checks and balances within the IT system to avoid these kind of scams from happening, but those happen. We apologize. And if something seems untoward and is asking for personal information, check before you actually provide it to the email link or whatever you receive. Do non-cadets have uniform costs or requirements? They do not. If you are not in the Corps, there are no uniform costs. CH 35 is Chapter 35 DEA. Again, Mia, thank you so much. Please send me that email and I'll try to get you, I'll work on getting you the answer you're looking for. I'm confused about
They're
health insurance.
veterans benefits, by the way.
Oh, thank you. We'll get you the response you're looking for, Mia. I promise if you send me that email. I am confused about health insurance. Should our son remain covered under his parents' employer plan?
Yes. Your student should remain under your insurance plan.
Thank you. And yet, even with your own plan, and yet they will have access to the services provided at the Student Health Center. So if they have a runny nose, they don't have to go off campus to Kaiser or Sutter or anywhere. We will take care of them. If they bring a problem that is not something that we have the capacity to look at, we will recommend that they go to their provider, but not without giving them the appropriate support when they walk into the health center. Is there a BART station in Vallejo? No, there isn't. Sorry. The closest is El Cerrito. And if your student is going to use BART, my personal recommendation would be to go to the one in Martinez instead of going to El Cerrito or Richmond. That's just me. Do some checking around and then make the best decision. For parking permits, if they're approved for one freshman year, does that guarantee they get one? I'm not sure what you are.
It's first come, first serve for parking. So if lot F fills up quickly, then that's all the space we have. So it's first come, first serve throughout the whole campus for parking, unfortunately. And one more thing on transportation, there is a ferry that goes from Vallejo to San Francisco. So it's kind of fun. It's about a 45-minute trip. So I encourage students to go explore, take the ferry, maybe take an Uber rideshare from our campus to the Vallejo terminal, and then take the ferry to San Francisco. It's a fun trip to do.
It absolutely is. I took a quick note when Charles was mentioning that we're a smoke-free campus. He mentioned the various types of smokes, but I also wanted to add we do not allow vaping either. Could you confirm that?
That's correct.
No vaping is allowed on campus either. Wow, it's 6:34. We are 4 minutes over our time. However, it looks like we're pretty close to getting all our questions answered. Are there drug tests? Yes, there are random drug tests if you're in the Corps. And we have someone who comes on campus. The student will be sent an email. They'll be given a time or a window of time when they have to arrive. They must respond to that email and arrive at the allocated time. Not arriving for the drug test means they failed the drug test. So be very careful. Remind their students to be mindful of those emails. We have on the 31st, you will be meeting the cadet leadership person who is responsible for drug tests and such. So please be asking this question again, and he'll give you even more information. For health insurance, is the school insurance considered the primary, or is our personal? So your health insurance is primary. We are there to provide support to your student if they have a runny nose or a bellyache or something that they're bothered with, including any support they need with psychological services. Sadly, our counselor could not join us today, but he would have said, yes, please come to the health center and get those services. We are there as a stopgap measure until if you need to go to your primary. We're here to support your student. Your insurance that covers them for everything is still the primary. Okay. Which BART station do you recommend? I recommend Martinez or Pleasant Hill, which keeps going further. So if you're taking a ride or catching an Uber, Martinez is the closest as opposed to Pleasant Hill, which is a little bit further in. Would you be able to resend the parking pass link, please? Charles, do you have that handy?
Yeah,
Oh, he
I
did.
sent
Yay,
to
thank
Rev
you.
tomorrow.
Thank
Yep.
you.
Yep.
All right. First, my gratitude to all the presenters for being here so patiently past your time. Thank you very much. As you can see in the comments, families and supporters really appreciate this information. And then second, I would like to invite all the presenters to applaud all the families and supporters who are here to get this important information so they can be a partner in their students' success. Thank you very much, families and supporters, for being here. And we will see you again soon. And please, those of you who needed information, email me at orientation@csum.edu. Until next time, bye-bye.
Thank you.
Sure, bye.